Hello, everyone, and welcome to Love You Mean It with Blair. Unfortunately, Serena's not with us today because she is sick, so unfortunately, it will be a little bit of a shorter podcast. Last time on Love You Mean It, we talked about self love and self care, but this podcast will be a little bit different. Today, we'll be talking about a variety of things, but first, we'll talk a little bit about Nancy Guthrie. For those of you that don't know, Nancy Guthrie disappeared in the Catalina foothills. Um, if you've seen the news or heard anything about her, she's missing from Tucson, Arizona. She's 84 years old, and she was last seen January 31st. She was last seen with her daughter and her son in law. There's been a couple conspiracy theories going around about what has happened to her, kind of where she went. Some of the theories are to do with cartels. Some of the theories think that her daughter and her son in law have something to do with it. A lot of people think it has something to do with her other daughter, Savannah. Her other daughter, Savannah, has been famous. She might be a target because of this, or there's some other reasons they think it could be because of Savannah. There's been a lot of speculation going around. In my opinion, it could be somebody with a grudge against Savannah. Things get a little messy when it comes to politics and money, but also it could be something to do with family or somebody close to family. I know that everybody in the family has been cleared. There's no speculation around them according to police, but she was last seen with her daughter and her son in law. It was pretty late at night. So, a lot of people are wondering what happened to her. She's been missing for a few months now, and she is pretty old. Her pacemaker had disconnected, and ever since then, they haven't found any trace of her besides some blood outside of the home. There was some ransom notes that people had sent into the family demanding money through Bitcoin, but none of that turned out to be true. It's fake. People are money hungry and, they want to exploit people's feelings and try and get their money because they know that they can. And I mentioned Savannah Guthrie, and there's also a few other celebrities that I would like to talk about. One of the celebrities I would like to talk about is Britney Spears. We all know her. She's been around for a long time making music. Her sister is famous, Jamie Spears. Britney Spears, she's had a pretty rough life. She's been in and out of jail. She's been in and off drugs, out of rehab. She's been in trouble for years. She even had a little manic moment where she shaved her head. It's kind of iconic for all of her fans and everybody that knows her. People kind of like to make memes out of it or whatever. But in March, I know this is a little late, but in March, she was arrested for DUI with drugs or alcohol. And she happened to only be released 3 hours after getting booked. I mean, 3 hours. If it was, me, for example, if that was me, I would be sitting in that drunk tank for the whole weekend, probably. You're just sitting there. So that's definitely the privilege of being a celebrity and having money for sure. um since that's crazy. But 2008, she has been to rehab around 5 times since 2008. Some of the times it was unvolunteered. She was ordered to go through, having court or whatnot, but most recently she decided to go with the help of her two sons. Her two sons are trying to make her realize that she should have a better life and they should have a better relationship with her. They want to see their mom get better and do well. Who wouldn't? And I wish her the best of luck. She does make good music, and I do think deep down she is a good person. And I know that was kind of a little bit of depressing news with Britney Spears, going through that, but there is some good celebrity stuff going on. We all know Pitbull. Recently, he did a concert and he actually set a Guinness World Record for the largest gathering of people wearing bald caps, achieving a final count of 22,141 fans. I wish I was there because it would have been 22,142 fans. That would have been amazing to go. And they also matched his style, wearing suits and facial hair. And this all went down in London. Imagine being in London wearing a bald cap, watching Pitbull perform. This would have been one for the records for me, and it was literally one for the records. And if you didn't listen to our last podcast, but if you did listen to our last podcast, hey! Then you will know what this sound means. It's time for the What Really Grinds My Gears segment. What really grinds my gears is bad driving. And I'm not just talking about bad driving, like people making mistakes, because come on, let's be honest, we all make mistakes. I couldn't tell you how many times I've hit the curb pulling out of a parking lot at a restaurant or stopping too long at a stop sign like it's a red light. Stuff like that happens. People's brains just kind of mess up. But I'm talking about the drivers who are aggressive. They are going, 60 in a 30, or they don't use turn signals. I mean, have people never heard of a turn signal? It's right there in your car. You're supposed to know what it is to even get your driver's license. I mean, people just completely forget it's there and they just turn last second. And then I'm almost like smashing into the back of their car. It's just common sense, people. I mean, people just don't know what they're doing when it comes to driving. And the people who drive slow are so different from the people who are driving fast. I mean, driving fast is dangerous, but so is driving slow. I mean, people are going so slow. And a lot of the times, no offense, but it is the oldies. It's the boomers. Some of them, they can't see, they're driving without their glasses. They're driving at nighttime without their headlights on. I mean, it's getting ridiculous. It's not only just like that it bothers people, but it's also for safety too. Not only for elder safety, but for everybody around you. There's wrecks all the time, and people need to be a lot more aware of driving safety, driving rules, and honestly more educated on it. Because especially with the permits, you can just write down whatever and you can just get your permit automatically and be able to drive with that. And a lot of people honestly aren't driving with adults. It happens. We got 15-year-olds out here driving to school every day, and that is dangerous too. Just making this aware, it's not only what grinds my gears, but it's for safety. So everybody, just practice road safety and be safe. I know that this was kind of a shorter podcast today because Serena was not able to be here. But she does send love to everybody, and I hope she does get better. But thank everybody for listening, and for any advice or questions, comment below or email us at xoxoqa.com, and check out our channel for our cooking shorts and other videos. Subscribe and have a nice night.